Hello everyone! Hope you are all having an incredible day. Let me go ahead and get this fixed. Okay. Hello everyone! I am on time today. Things have been crazy and wild. And by the way, an update on that app. It should be releasing within the next week. For those of you who haven't heard, I will be releasing a lot of my new content that you haven't seen before, but I will be on an app within the next week or so, and there will be Dreamwork guides, there will be full 8-hour sleep music on there, guided meditations, tons of stuff. We will have our own Discord community on there. There will be ways where we can all connect through the app and run different challenges and little events with each other, and it's going to be such a cool way just to connect with you guys, to play around with creating a whole new type of content. And also, I know that some people have had issues with YouTube randomly placing ads and stuff in the middle of sleep tracks, and I want you guys to know that is with all, YouTube kind of does that with all content. Even if you're not monetized on the platform, they sometimes can just place random ads in videos, and I've heard about it a few times on my sleep music channel, my second channel. So if that is an issue that you have experienced, then maybe the app is something that will serve you in the way that you need. There is a little thing to say on that though. There is a free ad, or a free Chrome extension called AdBlock that should remove ads from YouTube videos you watch, and I'm pretty I haven't used it for like a couple years, but I assume that it's still working. Or you can get YouTube Premium, which is like $12.99 a month, and it comes with a lot of benefits, but the main one I like is that I could play YouTube videos with my phone closed, and you avoid all ads. So that is a little tip if you guys have experienced that. But yeah, that's just one benefit of the app. I'm so excited. I've already got a bunch of content already uploaded on it. I just did the beta test the other day for the app, and it's looking awesome, so I will let you guys know as soon as it's released. Unfortunately, it's only being released for Apple at first for the time being. It's going to go Apple, desktop, and then for Android users. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that, but I'm very excited to begin that journey. So, let's see. We are going to be doing a little Dreamwork troubleshooting today. I pay $9 a month for YouTube No Ad, and it's worth it. Oh yeah, it's definitely worth it. Absolutely. So it's good to see you guys again. I saw some of the posts in the Telegram group about some of the experiences you guys have been having with Dreamwork, and I wanted to just give you a space to kind of talk about your Dreamwork issues, or what you've been experiencing, or what you have questions on, and we can kind of just break it down together. So if there is anyone who isn't a part of the Telegram group, that is where we connect outside of the live streams. You can ask questions in there, share experiences, whatever it may be. Just a way for us all to stay connected outside of the live stream. So let me go ahead and look through. And Greg, specifically, I saw some of the experiences you were having, and if you would like to open up about some of the stuff you're experiencing, let me know and we can chat about it. But I remember you saying something specifically about reality checks. Now I do have a couple questions or main issues that people experience with Dreamwork, so I will answer those as we go along, and then if you guys have any specific things that you want to ask about your practice, or maybe something's not working, or you want to figure out a different way to do something, just post it in here and we'll get to it. Eric, so good to see you. How are you doing? Yep, exactly, Eric. That is the process. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. I don't think it will take too long. But what's cool is the developers of this app, they are starting this app with just 10 people And I'm very grateful that I was one of the 10 creators to be asked about this, because I've been wanting to move some of my content to an app for a while, and eventually I want to create my own Dreamwork app. And I know exactly how I want to do it, so I think this will also help me kind of get my foot in the door with doing stuff like that. But I can create whatever type of content I want on there for as long as I want. As far as like the length of the videos, how I structure them, I have total creative freedom over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm planning to create specific programs. I'm going to have a sleep music program, which they will have all my sleep, not music that's already on here. This is music created specifically for this app, but that you'll be able to listen to sleep music on there. I'm going to have a personal development program, and then a beginner's Dreamwork and an advanced Dreamwork. And then I will see where that goes and see what else I want to do with it. But that is the plan for now. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, then I'll keep you updated. I'll probably post it in the Telegram group as soon as I have more information. Let's see. Laid down for almost 3 hours today, finally got that jerk. Interesting. Did you do it after a full night's sleep, or tell me a little bit about that, Greg? Because a lot of the issues I feel like with inducing lucid dreams is kind of the timing, and figuring out how to transition from wakefulness to sleep. And you do have to be, it is best to be in a very specific state, or else you could end up laying there forever. And we'll be talking a little bit about that, of how I prepare for techniques or to induce deeper states, because I definitely have been there where you're laying there for like probably 4 or 5 hours I've done it. And because you feel like you're right there. Like, I don't know if you guys have just laid there waiting for the vibrations or anything, but there's this point where you like feel it very lightly all over your body, but it doesn't really progress from that. At least that's something I've experienced. And so it keeps me just waiting there, like laying there like, okay, I'm almost there, you know. And then I either fall asleep, or I'm just laying there like until my body hurts and I have to move. So if you guys have experienced that before, you are not alone. That is definitely something that I dealt with a lot when playing around with the times of my techniques and things like that. And let's see. Hey Skip, what is up? I was so determined, gonna set my watch to remind myself to do a reality check every hour. And so that's also what reality checks are also something that can directly help when you're in those states, because if you get in the habit of checking in with yourself, your surroundings, and if you could be dreaming, when you're transitioning from wakefulness to the dream, where you're kind of the in-between state, that process that you've trained yourself to do with reality checking is going to help you understand when you transition to the dream before you even see the dream. And it's kind of hard to tell if we're asleep when we're doing our technique, because we're practicing keeping our mind awake, and so it doesn't really help us figure out when we're fully asleep so we can start doing a technique or anything. When you're practicing staying awake during those states anyways, you have this question of like, am I asleep? What stage am I in? How close are my dreams? And so practicing reality checks even helps with accessing states like this, because you do enter your dreams before you see them. For me, vision is one of the last things that comes in when my dream starts consciously. Usually it starts with like feeling, auditory sounds and stuff like that. And so it's good to keep asking yourself, even through these techniques, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Because when you first start that, as you're laying down, maybe for the first hour or something, or maybe less, depending on the state that you're in, that's very, very important, you'll be able to easily answer, no, I'm not dreaming. But there will be a point where you actually start to get confused and question, could I be dreaming? And that's where you're going to want to pay more attention to what's happening, because there's little subtle signs that kind of tell you which phase you're in, and once you kind of figure out your practice, you kind of know how to transition from one stage to the other. So that is one of the things I'm going to talk about, Greg, is the reality checks. These are the main things that I have to chat about, that I notice a lot of people go through. A lot of people have asked me to talk about having a hard time falling asleep at night, not remembering dreams very easily, reality checks aren't showing up in dreams, and having a hard time feeling motivated or staying motivated. So those are what we're going to be covering so far. If you have something that you would like to cover, let me know, and I'll either answer it now or I'll write it down with my little list so I don't forget. Okay, let's see. Wonderful. I hope that everyone is feeling better. What's going on? You doing okay, Eric? We are here for you. We're here for everyone. Thank you all for showing up as well. Like, I really do appreciate it. And a special thanks to Eric for showing up and modding the group, making sure everything stays in line and organized. We love you. We appreciate you, Eric. And yeah, if anyone, what state do you mean? Can you clarify, is it something that I said that you're referring to? Greg? Let's see. What is a good way to make reality checks fun? Okay, let me put that. That's a really good question, because they feel like a chore, and that's why they don't pop up in your dreams, because it's not, it's kind of like, it's activating another side of your brain when we see it as a chore, or when we start to feel stressed about reality checks, or we don't want to do them. We're activating a whole other part of our brain than if we were playing with it, having fun with it, being creative with it. That would be a whole different side of our brain, and that's the part of our brain that we dream in the most. We are the creative part of our brain is super active when we are dreaming. And so if we get used to activating that same level of our brain, especially when it's relating to dreams, reality checks, then that part of your brain is more likely to fire more when you are dreaming. And if it's connected, that part of your brain activating with reality checks, if it's connected to asking questions and becoming aware, then like that also helps make sure that you not only get to that state, but you can kind of wake up in that state. You said you had to be in the right state to get liminal. What do you mean? When I say state, I mean like a specific state of consciousness. So you could be super awake, you could be tired, but kind of focused. You could be completely stressed and in beta brainwaves. You know, when I refer to states, I'm kind of referring to brainwaves as far as like how you're feeling, how awake you are, how active your mind is. So like for the liminal state, to just kind of talk about that, it would be difficult to enter the liminal state if you feel really, really tired. That would be you're in the wrong state of consciousness to induce the liminal dream or the liminal state. Let's say that you're way too like, you're overthinking, you can't concentrate, you're antsy, you can't hold still. That would also be a state where it's not really gonna result in getting into the liminal state as easily. So when I refer to state, I'm usually talking about states of consciousness, how where your mind is at and where your body is at in that moment. Same with techniques. The state that I want to be in when I go to lay down in my bed is relaxed but aware, and it almost feels like you woke up from a nap like an hour or two ago. That feeling where you're awake, you're rested, but you probably still could fall asleep if you really tried. That's usually the type of state of consciousness that I try to be in when I do my techniques. Sometimes I can fall asleep really easily, but most of the time my brain is very active, especially if I'm doing a technique or I'm repeating something in my mind, or I'll be awake for a while. And so for me, I have to try to make myself more tired than usual because my brain is so overactive to begin with. And so that's what I mean by like learning how you are, like how you're feeling when you wake up during the day, what state you notice you get the best results in. It's all about playing with that. But for me, it's relaxed and aware, but relaxed enough where you could get yourself to fall asleep if you really tried, but also it's fairly easy to stay aware and awake and concentrate on something. So this very fine line. We're trying to basically mimic the line of awake and asleep, because that's the state that we're in when we're liminal dreaming, is we're half awake, half asleep. And so when you begin your techniques, it's beneficial to try to mimic that state as best as possible. You're awake, but you're very, very relaxed, because then it will be a lot easier to transition into the liminal state if you kind of already feel like you're there mentally a little bit, as far as how the state that you're in, like how your mind feels when you're in the liminal dream. It's good to try to mimic that as best as possible before you're actually in the state, if that makes sense. This is why I wait a little bit before trying to do a technique as soon as I wake up out of bed, because that state I might not be able to focus, I might be too tired. I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but this was an issue that I experienced all the time. I would wake up and I would wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, because this was when I was practicing waking up in the middle of the night or like in the middle of my sleeping cycle to induce a lucid dream. Or an out-of-body experience. I kind of would take whatever I got, but I would wake up, I'm like super super tired, can't focus, barely get myself to turn off my alarm. And then I'm supposed to either get up for a couple minutes and lay down to do my technique, or just get right into my technique. But have you ever woken up for your alarm and then you just decided you don't care about trying to induce a dream? You'd rather just go to sleep. There were times I would wake up, turn off my alarm, and I would lay down like, oh, I'm just gonna rest for a sec, and then I would just fall asleep. I was way too tired to induce an experience. Like, I couldn't even get out of bed for a few minutes. Like I told I want to say you're supposed to, but it really depends on if you're a deep sleeper or a light sleeper. Obviously, if it's super easy to fall asleep, then you'll want to get out of bed for a couple moments just so you can kind of create more awareness, and this will help yourself stay awake when you go back to bed. And so usually I did, get out of bed, at least for a little bit, because even though I do have a very overactive mind, when I wake up out of when I'm sleeping and I wake up, sometimes I'm super confused or just tired and I just want to sleep. So because my body and my mind responds that way, I have to try to use it in a way that will actually benefit me. So that's why I get a whole night's sleep now. And again, it took me like 4 or 5 years to get to this point. Like, before I was totally fine waking up at 4 in the morning and practicing, because I would get results from it. But then I noticed things started to change, where I would be more tired, or I wouldn't be able to focus, and that's when I decided to switch how I was doing it, how I was doing my dream practice, because things are going to change. You're always growing, you're always changing, you're always learning, and so your sleep is not always going to be the same. Your dreams are not always going to be the same. What gets you lucid is not always going to be the same. So it's all about just learning as you go along of how things are changing in your practice and how you can kind of pivot to help, get it to work for you. So as far as that, I definitely do a lot of my techniques during the day or the morning. And my sleeping cycles, it's all over the place sometimes. So I kind of, when it's like that, I kind of just, change it up. It's like, okay, if I'm having a hard time sleeping, or I really messed up my sleep schedule this night, if I want to practice this, I'm just going to have to do this. Let's say that you messed up your sleeping schedule super bad and you're trying to get it fixed. Sometimes I will pull an all-nighter to fix it. I don't know if you guys have been there, but I'm a night owl and a morning person at the same time. Only because sometimes I stay up so late that it's morning before I even go to bed. Maybe that's because of art, maybe I'm working on a video, whatever, maybe I'm playing Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, who knows? But when that happens, and if you notice that you're having a difficult time regulating your sleep schedule, and for me, going to bed early is hard. You're like, okay, my sleep schedule's super messed up, let me try to fix it and go to bed at way earlier tonight, like 8 a.m. That's hard for me, because then I'm super awake. I notice that I'm awake all night, I'm tossing and turning, unless I find a way to completely knock myself out. So for me, to correct my sleep schedule sometimes I'll wait until I'm super tired, and it's 8 p.m. the next day or something, and then I'll correct my sleep schedule that way. You just do what you need to do, and really, there's not a ton of rules when it comes to this. It's all about just figuring it out as you go along. And that's something that I kind of struggled with for a long time, was getting to sleep on time or staying asleep. And so that is one thing that kind of helped me was, we tell ourselves, okay, I have to do this, or okay, I have to go to bed at this time so I'm successful in my break out of that a little bit, because I've noticed that it feels so much more fun to like let go and relax in the ways that I can and playfully practice my dream work in a way that feels like relaxed and fun. Because if we make it too serious, even with the things that we have to do for it, okay, I have to meditate at this time for this exact amount of time or else I failed. Like, we're setting ourselves up to fail when we think that, because now we're inducing like fear and stress into our minds, and that's the exact thing we want to get out of, because that keeps us in like beta brainwave, right? We can't fully relax and let go if we are holding on super tightly. So I promise you that you will have more success with your dreams the more you allow yourself to break some of the rules of what you've told yourself you have to do to be successful. So that's one way that I deal with having a hard time falling asleep at night. I just correct my schedule, but sometimes it takes it takes like a full day for me to be able to get tired at the correct times. So that's a natural way to fix that I work on fixing my sleeping cycle. But valerian root is something that I recommend to a lot of people. Our body has a hard time breaking down melatonin supplements because we create natural melatonin with the foods we eat that contain tryptophan, for example. Foods that contain tryptophan, the body turns into serotonin, and then that serotonin turns into melatonin. So looking for foods high in tryptophan is an easy way to start regulating your sleep cycle. And the reason why melatonin capsules they can kind of disrupt our sleeping cycle is because we naturally get melatonin from the sun because of serotonin, and our mood and other foods that we eat, and there's so much condensed melatonin in a small capsule that our body can't break it down as easily, so it kind of goes through us. And melatonin isn't even used for sleep. It's used to regulate your entire sleeping cycle. So if you take too much melatonin, that could throw off your entire sleeping cycle. You could wake up earlier, you can wake up throughout the night, like you'll get tired at weird times. So I recommend either creating natural melatonin in the body or taking a supplement like valerian root, which is a root that kind of mimics the effects that melatonin can have when it's helping us feel more relaxed and get tired more easily. Like, I'll take 1 to 2 valerian root capsules like 2 hours before bed, and I will feel super ready to go to bed by the time I told myself I want to go to bed. So that's also a way to fix your sleeping cycle. Let's say you're trying to get into bed by 10 p.m. You should probably take 1 to 2 tablets of valerian root if you're going to try it, like at 8 p.m. And then you just wait until you naturally feel tired, and then you can go to bed. So it's not like you're trying to force yourself to go to bed. You're not having to stay up a whole day to correct your sleeping cycle because you can't sleep. Like, that's a couple ways to navigate having a hard time falling asleep. Hello, Lloyd. How are you? Okay. I'll pull up an all-nighter if I have to. Right now, I'll try anything. Yeah, and sometimes, like, I'm telling you, there's so many, like, I get so much energy at night because I get all of these creative ideas, or I've been loving playing Zelda on my downtime. So maybe I'm just, like, doing something awesome in Zelda, and it's not the time that I want to stop playing, whatever it is. Sometimes I've stayed awake until, like, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the morning even. And it's because I get so inspired and energized at like weird random times. And before I would like be like, nope, no matter what, we're going to bed at this time, waking up at this time. And I would be missing out on so much creative energy because I get some of the best ideas at night. And so I was trying to figure out, how can I honor both parts of myself? How can I honor my wild, creative, energized side? And how can I honor the part of myself that desires consistency and desires to, consistent results in the work that I'm doing and the practices that I'm doing? And so sometimes it's just about creating a cool, weird schedule for yourself that works. Maybe you give yourself a day a week or 2 days a week to stay up all night and just create and just to like be as wild as you want. Or maybe you give yourself time during the day to have more downtime so you can commit to like whatever it is. You get to make the rules. That's what's cool. You get to make the rules, and there's no set way that's better than the other. That the best thing is to allow yourself to feel creative and inspired, to find a way that makes it feel more fun and playful and not so serious, and then a way where you can consistently check in with your sleep and work with the content of your dreams. You can make it as simple as you want. It's just about figuring out the main pieces that are causing resistance and what we can swap that out for. So it's really just about play. And again, this is creating your own unique recipe to your practice, and it will change. It will absolutely change as you learn and grow. There's things that I used to do in my dream practice that I haven't even done for years. And it's just because I don't really feel aligned with it anymore, or it doesn't work for me the same anymore. And that's totally fine. It got me to the point that it did, and then now I'm at the point where I can try something completely new, you know? And that's really what it's about. So just notice what's going well, what's not going well, or what we can kind of tweak and change, and what the options are for that thing. Okay. Just know we're still there for you when it's late, can't sleep. Yeah, I feel like I'm always going through that. Using a Steam Deck, keyboard, mouse. Oh yeah, I know. Steam Decks are super cool. I used to stream on Twitch, and I didn't stream on there long enough to be able to get certain things, but the Steam Decks are cool, and I was gonna I don't know if anyone here watches the H3 podcast, but I love their setup they have with their sound bites. And I desire something like that for my podcast one day. Oh, also getting attention release program, massage, music, stretching, soft physical activity will help fall asleep as well, I found. Yes, that is the next thing that I was actually going to talk about, is somatic movement, for one. When we feel antsy, or we have a hard time sleeping, or we just feel too everywhere, it's a lot of the time because our body has too much energy. And I'll admit it, I've been slacking a little bit on my yoga. I get so caught up in my work like on my creativity. I'm telling you, my brain constantly, I'm like, there's just so many things that I want to do all the time. And so sometimes I've been half-assing my yoga. And I have been feeling it when when I go to bed and stuff, because my body will just have more energy that it really wants to be wrung out of. And so anyway, like even if it's a night walk, sometimes, you know, even when I go to bed at like 3 in the morning, sometimes I'll take my dog for a night walk before I go to bed. And the more you can wring out your body of energy before bed, your body's going to relax so much more into your bed. You're going to stay asleep, and your body will have more energy to focus on creating dream content. Because you would think it's the other way, right? Like, well, if you're wringing your body out of energy, how is it going to have an easier time having more energy to create dreams? Well, think about what happens when you have too much energy and you're trying to sleep. You're tossing and turning, you're overthinking, you're waking up. And so that's why it would disrupt your sleep cycles, because you wouldn't even be able to stay asleep. So I love what you said, Eric. Massage, music is incredible. Stretching, soft physical activity. Yeah, sometimes I'll just like watch something that I love before bed. Whether it's been like mostly H3 stuff for a while. But there's times where I'll just watch like a really relaxing podcast, or sometimes I'll end my night with like a cool documentary on dreams or something. And I'll just kind of stretch and like drink a hot tea while I'm watching it and just kind of relax. And you basically just want to create a ritual of going to bed. The same way that we create rituals to induce lucid dreams and to initiate ourselves into those states. Create a ritual before bed. That's actually something I want to invite you all to do. Is create some sort of routine, some sort of ritual for yourself before bed. Maybe it is just pouring a hot cup of tea and doing some like deep, nice breathing with some really simple stretches on the floor. That could totally be it. Maybe, and my brain always involves tea, so I might talk about tea a lot because to me it's like setting the vibe. Like as soon as I wake up, what I do is I make a hot cup of tea. Before bed, I make a hot cup of tea. If I need a break from work throughout the day, it's like something to break up my day. And it's also like I don't know, it's a practice, you know. You can make it as mindful as you want. You can make anything as mindful as you want. But if you allow yourself to have a ritual, you look forward to it, you start to get used to it, you feel a little off without it, it sets the tone for the thing you're trying to do, and also helps you move from like one task to another. It's kind of hard to like be like editing tons of videos and stuff and then immediately go to bed. It gives your brain this buffer period of like, okay, now I finished this task, now we're going to initiate like the next task or something. It allows your brain to kind of debrief from the work or something you were doing before. So I love that. I love that, Eric. And again, it doesn't have to be somatic stuff. Like it doesn't have to be physical movement, but I'd at least incorporate that in some way because you will notice a huge difference. Maybe sometime I can do like a little live stream before bed or something for like somatic movement of like how I prepare for sleep. Like, I'll take you with me to make my cup of tea. I'll take you with me to my room to kind of get my bedroom set up for sleep. And then just like the basic stretches and like somatic movements I do before I go to sleep. Oh, and dream planning. Maybe I can just make a whole video of like my nighttime routine when I'm not up until 8 in the morning. But I have been doing better, so maybe we'll have to do that. Let's see. What's your app called? I don't know if I can say it yet. Because they haven't fully released it yet, but within like the next 3 or 4 days, I think they said either the 26th or the 28th they're releasing it. I'll be able to tell you guys, and I'll be able to send you guys over there. And it's gonna be, it's gonna be super cool. I don't even want to say anything yet because it's gonna be so cool. And I want to be able to like fully talk to you guys about it when it is released. So I don't know what information I can release quite yet because they haven't, and it's this cool startup app, this cool company. They reached out to me. They are super, super kind, and they are totally aligned with the work that we all do in here. Like I definitely knew that I was supposed to work with them, and I was supposed to create this type of content. And members, you've already been getting some of the content from that app if you're a member. The Dreamwork guides I've been creating and the guided meditations and stuff, those are things on the app. So if you are a member or a Patreon, then you've already gotten a taste of what's to come. So I'm very excited. The only issue, Skip, is cannabis suppresses your REM sleep. So you can totally do that before bed, but you won't remember your dreams, really. So that is something important to remember because there's so many people smoke, but not a lot of people know that. Oh my god, it's like pouring rain outside. I'm gonna go get my cactus, my succulents and my cacti outside because it's pouring rain and I don't want them to get wet. So 1 second. gosh. What is going on? Oh my gosh, one second. Oh my god. There's nowhere safe. There's nowhere safe. It doesn't rain like this here. There's not even one safe place for any of my plants out there. And I have tons of aloe and cacti and succulents and things that should not get wet. There is nowhere safe on the balcony right now. Do you hear that? Damn! Okay, I don't remember exactly what I was saying. Oh yes, cannabis, right? Is that too loud? I just wanted to like... I wish I could take you guys with me. You could just go run out in the rain. I might have to close the door. Oh yeah, Greg. It doesn't rain too much in Utah, but I can barely hear it. Okay, cool. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna just go grab a couple of my plants and I'll just bring them in and I'll show you guys, because it makes me nervous having them out there. Okay, almost. Okay, that should be good for now. Okay. I'm kind of near Salt Lake, Draper area, so more in the city. But it really doesn't, and usually if it rains here, it's like, 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. So it's not very long at all, but it'll probably stop soon because it doesn't usually last long. But I'll just show you guys some of my plants. I have a ton of plants. These are just some of my ones outside. This is my succulent that I got not too long ago. I have 2 jade plants that I just repotted not too long ago. This is a bristle brush cactus, and it is like little hair. The spikes are like little hairs. I dropped it. Well, it was falling out of the thing the other day when I got it, and I had to grab it. And the spikes in it were so fine that I had to like hold my hand up in front of the sun to even be able to get them out. So that was fun. Don't do that. And then here's my other little cactus that's growing pretty well. Yeah, they're not supposed to get very much water on them, so I started feeling panic when I heard the rain. Do you have umbrellas where you live? Yeah, but I don't use them. We definitely do have umbrellas, but I don't have any here. I don't even own an umbrella, I don't think. I love the rain. I can't think of a time where I would use an umbrella. Maybe if it was like hail and I was like outside on a walk or something. It was like really intense. Maybe that's the only time I would use an umbrella. I'm not sure. Okay. What do you prefer, lucid or vivid? I think it depends. There's always times where a lucid dream would be more helpful so you can interact with the dream, but there's also dreams where I think that we're not supposed to interfere. There's something that's being shown to us. And so I think that there's not one that's better than the other. There's some dreams that I'm super glad were lucid, and there's some dreams that I'm super glad were not lucid. And yeah, I think it's all depends on the dream in particular. Be sure to update the link tree when the app drops. Oh yes, thank you, Eric. I didn't even think of that for some reason. Okay, Sorry for the little delay. I'll have to show you guys my little fairy garden on the balcony sometime. I got little solar powered fairy houses and stuff, so it's like kind of magical out there. Lucid limit. Yeah, it's almost, I think, kind of all liminal dreams almost are lucid because they happen on the edges of sleep between wakefulness and sleep, so you kind of always know that you're witnessing something like that. But yeah, there's so many layers to dream work, or dreams. Dreams is a spectrum. Dreaming is a spectrum, and there's so many states in between, even the states that are right next to each other. Like, let's say we're falling asleep, we're in the liminal state, and then we're entering the dream state. There's still their own individual states in between states that are right next to each other, like wakefulness and relaxation, and then relaxation and light sleep to deep sleep. I mean, there's still so much we can experience between each of those states. Yeah, I think your ego in lucid dreams shakes the message. It totally can, and sometimes we can totally miss the point of the dream or the message, because once you get lucid, sometimes it's so easy to become distracted and to kind of miss the juice of what we could have gotten out of the dream, if that makes sense. You hit 112 degrees down there today? Oh my god. That is insane. It's been so hot. I actually haven't even been able to chill outside on my balcony, which makes me sad. So hopefully, I can't wait for fall. And then I should be moving to Washington in like May or June. So I'm hoping that actually happens, because then everything's gonna be, oh my god, my YouTube channel will not be the same once I move to Washington. None of my work, I feel like, will be the same. I'll still be me, but I think everything will be elevated and have a whole new energy to it. So I'm very, very, very excited for that. Oh yes, we were talking about cannabis and stuff. So there's people that are gonna smoke cannabis. And you can totally still dream while doing that. It's very hard to dream while you're using it. If I was to use cannabis and work with my dreams, I would probably aim to use it sometime in the early morning, even though that can kind of make you more kind of tired and groggy throughout the day sometimes. It's going to give you a lot more success than like smoking or using cannabis before sleep. Because when you use it in the morning, you have the entire day where you're kind of able for it to wear off and to become regulated again. When we're using cannabis, we skip out on dream sleep and we go right into deep sleep. I mean, we can tell, right? You feel so relaxed after you smoke. Sometimes you're just couch locked and you want to chill and just like not do a lot. Totally fine. Super fun, in fact, a lot of the times. But it directly interferes with the state that we dream in, because in a lucid dream, for example, our brainwaves are more active when we're in a lucid dream than when we're awake. So our brain is firing more neurons when we are in a lucid dream. There's way more activity than when we're awake. So if cannabis puts us into deep sleep, it's going to take out the states where we feel more brainwave activity and more awareness. It's going to basically shut those down and allow us to fall asleep faster and more deeply. So you can still use cannabis and dream, but maybe you'll just have to use it in the morning. Maybe you'll just have to set certain days a week where you can use it. Or maybe if you use it medically, then there's a couple days that you set aside where you don't use it, just to allow that REM rebound to come in. Now, REM rebound, so REM sleep, rapid eye movement, is the stage which we dream, we experience sleep paralysis, we lucid dream. And again, that kind of gets paused or shut off when we are using cannabis. But when you stop using cannabis, it's like that button unpauses and you get all of this dreaming sleep back that you were kind of missing out on when using cannabis. So you don't miss out on all that dreams. It's still there. It's just going to hit you all at once when you stop using cannabis. And sometimes you'll have spontaneous lucid dreams. You'll have super vivid dreams, recall through the roof. And you can use that time to work with your dreams, to write your dreams down, to look at your dream signs, whatever it may be. But again, like, it's all about just playing with what works and what doesn't. And I just recommend finding what works for you if you're using cannabis and you want to dream. Because even though they can't really exist together, they can exist next to each other and separately. You just have to be very strategic with how you do that, if that makes sense. The more I wake up after a dream, I realize I'm a spirit in this body. Like this life is also a dreamlike world. That also helps you lucid dream more as well. When you start to think of the world that you're in like a dream or as a dream. And also looking at the differences between the two states. What is different between this world and our dreams? I'm like so happy right now. It like does not... It does not rain like this. I hope my aloe will be fine. It's so crazy. It'll be fine. I'm sure, right? What was I saying? What was I can't even remember. Oh yes. The more we can look at the similarities and differences between this reality and our dreams, we're going to more easily recognize when we're dreaming in the first place, because you've gotten so good at looking at the qualities that this physical reality has and also the qualities that your dreams have. And that will automatically help you start to realize when you're dreaming, when you're awake, because you start to subconsciously understand the differences between the states that you're in. And that's actually the next point that I wanted to bring up about reality checks. So there's people who say reality checks aren't showing up in their dreams. And then we also want to talk about how to make reality checks fun. Because if they don't feel fun, if they feel like a chore, your brain is going to try to keep you away from it. And it's because your brain has 3 jobs. Can anybody remember what the 3 main jobs are of your brain? Seeking blank, seeking blank, and reducing blank. Oh no, seeking blank, being blank, and reducing blank. Who remembers what those are? Eric, I was waiting for your reaction to that. Who remembers what the 3 jobs of your brain are? Seeking, let's see, be, reduce. All right. Awesome. Seeking pleasure. That is number 1. Our brain tries to do it to cut corners. The second one, it'll try to pile several things on to be as blank as possible. I'm gonna go check on my aloe really fast while you guys figure it out. All right. Okay, yeah, and stress can count as the last one. So it goes seeking pleasure, being efficient, and reducing pain. So it does do its best to reduce stress because it kind of sees stress as pain. So that goes in with the last one. So we have to also keep that in mind when we are creating new habits or practices. If our brain is trying to seek pleasure, be efficient, and reduce pain, how can we make this as easy as possible for our brain to be on board? So number one, how can I get pleasure out of this? How can I create this practice to be kind of efficient so my brain doesn't feel like I'm wasting time? And how do I reduce pain in this? How do I make it as easy as possible to feel as fun as possible? So those are the things that I would definitely recommend looking at when it comes to the things that you're doing in your practice. Same with reality checks. How can we make them feel more pleasurable? How can we be more efficient in our reality checks? And how can we reduce the pain or the frustration of doing reality checks? So, for example, for me, I like to do reality checks outside. And I'll do it on my walks. This is one of the ways that I do it. I put myself in the mindset that I am in a dream. Like I'm just realizing I'm dreaming. Like, you know, right before you realize you're dreaming, where you're looking really closely at things, you're starting to question and start to pick up like, okay, this is weird. I try to put myself in that mindset when I'm outside on my walk. Because then it gets you to pay a little bit more close attention. It gets you to look at the world that's around you a little bit more closely. And for me, it's just so helpful to start thinking more throughout the day that, wow, this could be a dream right now. Like, actually though, because we don't know that it's not. And I think the more that I allowed myself to play, almost like I was role playing in a dream. Like, it's almost like you're allowing yourself to role play your dream self. And it's super fun. And there's sometimes, especially at night, like I have a lot of dreams that take place at night for some reason. Well, oh, I wonder why. I just talked about how I stay up literally all night. Okay, well, that does make sense. See, there's always little connections that we make along the way. But I dream a lot at night. And in my dreams, there's always this like certain energy. It's very hard to explain, but it's almost like, it's not eerie, but it's like, I don't know, it's the coolest feeling. I don't know how, I wish I could tell you guys the emotions that come through in dreams and how weird and alien-like and otherworldly they are. But I'm sure you guys know. But there's just like this cool feeling in a lot of my dreams. It's all, I don't know. It's like mystery and excitement. I don't even, it sounds dumb, me trying to explain it. Like, I really don't even know. But, I guess one also way to describe it is like, let's say that you're dreaming of being at work. There's this underlying feeling or energy that's there that's not usually there when you're at work in waking life. You know what I mean? Like, you dream of work, but there's this like kind of weird otherworldly emotion or feeling in the dream. It's like that. And that's how a lot of my dreams are, especially the ones at night. And so when I go walk at night, I like can almost create that same emotion or feeling in my head. And I just pay more close attention, like pulling out my hand to count my fingers under like the street lights. I don't know, there's something about it that makes me feel like I'm dreaming, because that's something that happens in my dreams a lot. And I think with reality checks, how can you recreate how you usually get lucid? I like had a little moment there, because I even never thought of it exactly like that. Like, notice how you get lucid most of the time. Where are you? How do you get lucid? What are the thoughts that you're having? And you can almost try to recreate it. So maybe try that as well, is like notice what gets you lucid the most and how you can try to recreate that in your waking life. Because it's all about getting you in the same state of mind that you're in when you become lucid. And reality checks can come in many forms. It's not just so black and white, like, okay, this is how you do it. Set your alarm for this time. The only reason I tell you guys to set your alarm is because you want to do this consistently. You want to do this throughout the day, because something that you do once during the day is not going to show up in your dreams. It needs to be something that you spend a good amount of time doing, and that will give it a chance to habitually start to become a part of your dreams. So I would find ways to do reality checks in a way that you didn't think you're able to do them. Like, break the rules. Break all the rules, because that opens up your creative mind to allow you to do something completely different. So that's what I'd recommend doing. But there's so many like, and again, there's two main parts to reality check. The physical check of like testing your physical reality or your physical hands to see a different result than what you usually get. But there's also the mental reality checks of the questioning. How do I know where I am right now? Is there anything weird about what I'm experiencing? Do I remember what I was doing 10 minutes ago? So combining those two together, the questioning, the mental questioning and the physical checks, that's going to be the secret sauce. But if you're not having fun doing it, if you feel like it's not efficient, or you feel like you're getting pain from the experience, like it's more painful to do a reality check than it is enjoyable, you're not alone, first of all. But second of all, that's why your brain is like, nope. I don't want any more reality checks. We just have to change the way that our brain associates dreams with reality checks. If you're struggling right now, there's a chance that your brain is associating reality checks with pain or a chore or, why do I have to do this? And so sometimes it's also good to remind yourself of your why, to watch something that motivates you. And I'm not sure if you guys, maybe I'll try to find it really quick. I have a lucid dreaming motivational video thing. It's basically just a video that I created based on your why to lucid dream. It kind of allows you to think beyond what you think is possible in the dream, and also to remember, or to remind you of how incredible it is to even be able to have these experiences. Because sometimes we forget like what is actually possible through lucid dreaming. And from my experience, sometimes if you don't have a strong why, you don't care. And so it's all about kind of revisiting that why. I'm just looking for it right now. If any of the mods can, I cannot find it for some reason. It's the lucid dreaming motivation video. I'll still be looking. Da 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 da. It's in I have so many playlists. Yeah, I don't even know where it is now. I uploaded it literally not too long ago. Alright, well, I guess I'll look for it later. That's so weird. Why is it not here? I just did it like not too long ago. But I'm going back like months and months and months and months, and it's still not there, so I'm not sure.
Pros knows.
Nope, we're not doing any ads right now. That is so weird. Okay, well, I guess, oh, I found it. Wow, it was really 11 months ago. Pfft. I was like, I just made this video. Okay, this is a video. It's just 5 minutes, but it's kind of designed to help remind you of what dreaming can give us. Thank you, Eric. I was like, what am I doing? So, for those of you who are curious, I have playlists for beginners and tons of different playlists. One's on sleep paralysis, reality checks, beginner, advanced dream work, all of that. This one was pulled from the beginner, or the Dreamwork Bare Essentials playlist. Thank you, Eric. I was like, I might need help. But I found it. So if you're struggling with just knowing how dreaming can be important or what it can give us, I think that's a good video to watch on it. And I also have videos on like the possibilities through lucid dreaming. All of the different things that you should try in your next lucid dream. I have a lot of those videos actually. And if you guys are interested, like I would love to hear from you guys if there's specific playlists you want to see that would make it easier to find specific types of videos you're looking for. Let me know, because I've created almost every playlist that I can think of, but if there's something that you guys would like out of the content for me to bundle it a little bit more tightly, let me know. Have it for a month, still changing when to start the lights, looking for when REM kicks in. I stopped using the alarm to wake up. Yeah, and some people will use those like watches to track their REM sleep. I kind of just use my dream journal to track them. And so it's really the best thing for you to do for your practice is to figure out what is easiest for you to do. Some people are going to have a hard time focusing on doing something in particular. Other people will be like, oh my god, this is the foundation of my dream practice. So it's going to be different for everybody, but I want to provide you with a ton of different tools, a ton of different techniques, a ton of different things to try, just so you can mix and match to create your perfect recipe for your practice, you know what I mean? So when it comes to reality checks, just remember the basics. It's about questioning the reality that you're in and physically testing the reality you're in. That's it. You can do whatever else you want with it. You can create a series of reality check practices that have never been seen before. And that's awesome. You know? So I would definitely allow yourself to play and have space to just try new things. Because I don't do reality checks in the same way that I did them before. Now I use kind of like real-time oddities that happen. Sometimes interactions with other people feel kind of dreamlike, or sometimes I can dissociate a little bit. Like once, maybe you guys can relate, you just met somebody, you just say, hey, how you doing? And then you like get into a conversation. Maybe the conversation's going for so long, like your brain is having like a hard time figuring out, like having a hard time keeping up. That happened not too long ago, and I almost started to like disassociate in the conversation, and it made me think of my dreams, like, and I had to ask myself, could this be a dream right now? And of course I was still listening and talking to them, but there's ways to test your environment and to ask yourself certain questions in silence. So even when you're around people, you can do your reality checks. So that's kind of what I'd recommend doing as well, is like inviting a reality check into situations where you don't think it's appropriate to do one. Like, yeah, out in public, just asking yourself a series of questions and seeing how you can test your reality without even doing anything on the outside. Because I think that's also what causes people to feel like reality checks aren't working, is they don't do them when they go out of their house. They don't do them around people. Unless you only dream of being in your house, that's going to cut out a lot of opportunities for you to be able to get lucid. So look at what you dream of the most. Like, are you outside the most? Are you wherever you are? And try to do reality checks in those types of situations more when you're awake. That way you can actually bridge the gap between reality checks and the waking state. Oh, that's cool. A USB voice recorder. I like that idea better than texting or using your phone for dream journals. That's one thing I don't like to do. And a lot of people ask if they can do it. You totally can if that's what helps you get your dreams written down. But the people that tell me that they write down their dreams in their phone, I ask them if they go through them, and they say no. I write my dreams down and then I don't go through them again because it's just too much chaos. And that's why I don't personally use my phone to write my dreams down, because I could lose all of that data at any time. As soon as I start using my phone in the morning, it is stimulating my brain and taking me out of my subconscious, so I'm less likely to remember as much detail from my dreams. Depending on if you remember a dream in the middle of the night and you pull out your phone to write it down, that light could cause you to have a harder time falling back asleep. It would be kind of difficult to keep track of all your dreams and write out the dream signs. That it would be so hard to actually do the work, I feel like, if you're writing your dreams down in a phone. For me, I like to go back to dreams. I like to underline dream signs. I like to put a star next to my dream if it was lucid. Like, I have this little process that I do in my dream journal. And even before bed, I will go back and read through my dream journal and laugh at some of the dreams I've had and be like, oh my god, wait, this actually happened a month ago. Like, I just let my brain be in my dreams. I let my brain laugh at them, look at past dream entries. I look at the past, like what my old dream signs were. It's so helpful to allow yourself to go into the world of your mind, because you're going to more easily recognize when something appears from one of your dreams. You'll be able to realize that you are in that state more easily because you spent so much time there, even while awake. And I think that's super cool. So I love to use my dream journal as kind of like a regular notebook. I love that you said the voice recorder, because you don't have to be like typing out your dream. Like, you can just close your eyes and be in the energy of your subconscious and speak it out loud like you were telling someone a dream. And as long as, for me, if I was to do that, like a voice recorder thing, I would speak out my dream in the voice recorder, but then I would just like write out the main parts of the dream. Like, these were my main dream signs. This was the main emotion in the dream. Yes or no, it was lucid. That way, even when I'm going back through my voice recordings, I still have a little snippet of what that dream contained, and it would kind of help me find my previous dream entries, if that makes sense. You're not alone, Skip. You're not alone. And sometimes after a dream, have you guys had what I notice a lot with how people become obsessed with lucid dreams? Have you guys ever had like a love dream in a lucid dream? Not necessarily like a very intimate one or anything, if you know what I'm saying. But more of just like the emotional feeling of like being in love with someone or something. In the lucid dream, I notice that happens a lot. Like, people will have these like really intense lucid dreams where they like meet the love of their life or something, and just the feeling you have in the dream is like way beyond anything that you've felt in waking life, and it becomes so like it feels so real, and that person feels so real, and what you're feeling in your body, like emotionally, just is like something outside of anything you've ever felt in waking life. That gets so many people hooked to lucid dreaming and shows them how real and beautiful this practice can be. And I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that, but that's one of my favorite dreams. Eric, it is. Can you guess what flavor it is? The rain already stopped, but you can go out and see how. No, go out there. One sec. It was pouring so much that our porch was flooding. It was getting all the way back. I had to stop my stream like 4 times to come out. It's in all my cacti are at my desk right now because it was like coming at the door like tsunami.
Yeah, I felt or heard it on my window, and that's when I sent you that message like in all caps.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was like, one sec, guys, shit is going down. Eric, you do know me. And I almost did get the blueberry one, the 𝒂𝒏𝒕𝒅𝒂𝒂 one, but the only issue was that the 𝒂𝒏𝒕𝒅𝒂𝒂 one didn't come in bulk. So I actually got the Enlightenment one. But yes, the 𝒂𝒏𝒕𝒅𝒂𝒂 one is like my favorite. I love yerba. Okay. Yes, love dreams. But one thing that's helped me is, especially with even inducing dreams and stuff, is kind of trying to recreate the emotion that you felt within that dream. So for example, let's just say you're trying to get lucid. Think about a lucid dream where you felt such intense, powerful emotion. I've found that just like we can get lucid through visualization and sound, we can also do that through emotion and feeling. And this is what I mean by experimenting with your practice and seeing all the weird ways that you can get lucid without it being something that you've heard everybody talk about. Because imagine if you just walked yourself through one of those really beautiful dreams where you just feel your heart is like so full. That can get you lucid in itself, because emotions are so real to the brain. Emotions will trump anything. Everything. We are ruled by our emotions and our feelings. It truly does impact everything in our lives. So if our emotions and our feeling have so much power to it, then there must be some power to it that we haven't explored yet in different ways. I mean, think about what emotion can do. Think about all of the magic that stems from emotion or feeling. And because the lucid dream state is so full of that creative, playful energy, it makes sense that we'd be able to access really interesting states just through inducing feeling alone. And that by the way, that's also how you control your out-of-body experiences, is through will and intention and your emotional state. That's how you control the frequency of your out-of-body experience, is based on the emotional state that you are resonating at that time. That's why if someone is feeling more stressed or down or something, they're more likely to have an out-of-body experience that feels like heavier, that maybe mimics some of that same emotion, but you can transcend it through raising or elevating your own emotional state. So with that being said, you can induce those types of states almost through emotion alone. Emotion dictates your feelings, and that, yeah, so that's exactly right. Our circumstances, or the beliefs that we have about our circumstances, that creates a thought. And with every thought, there is a feeling attached to it. So the thoughts that we allow ourselves to think kind of influence our emotions, and vice versa. The feelings that we feel in our body influence the set of thoughts that we have. And based on the emotions, the feelings that we are having at the time, that influences the actions or inactions that we take. And of course, the actions or inactions that we take influence our results. So directly, our results stem from our thoughts and our feelings. So I think we should find more ways to use our thoughts and our feelings to create beautiful states that would be harder to access otherwise if we didn't start working with that beautiful miracle that is emotion. It's like all of the art that I create comes from an emotional place. And if I rely so heavily on my emotions for my art, imagine what I can do in the lucid dreams by playing with different emotion and feeling. And I'm really curious, for those who have had that like true love type of lucid dream that I'm talking about. It doesn't even have to be a lucid dream, but like that really intense love that's like I don't know if you guys even know what I'm talking about. I've talked to my friend Daniel Kelly before about this, and he totally knows what I'm talking about. So I just assumed most dreamers know what I'm talking about. Let me know if you don't. But not only can we probably use that to get lucid, but imagine what type of dreams you can create through emotion alone. That's something we'll have to try. Without affirmations and words and intentions in the dream, like imagine creating an emotion in your body while lucid and just watching how the dream responds. That sounds really fucking cool and interesting. I might have to try that. Yeah, and also, I love that point, Skip. Sometimes we have a good day and other times suck. Sometimes I can be hard on myself with like the things I tell myself to do. And I do go through physical things pretty consistently. Of course, I'm a female, so I have my my moon cycle that happens every month. But there's also like a couple weeks before that where the doctor just said that I must just be in tune with my body, because like 2 weeks before my moon cycle, I'll start to have all these crazy symptoms that make me feel like I'm sick. But she told me, oh yeah, your body's just letting you know it's coming. And so I've had to have grace with myself, because even sometimes when I get stressed, I feel physically sick. Like my body, my emotions, and my feelings, it rules my life. If there's an opportunity that doesn't feel aligned, I will physically feel it in my body so intensely that I can't ignore it. And there's some days where I just need to take a break and I have a hard time showing up. And the more that we can allow ourselves to do that and it be totally fine, the more fully we're going to be able to show up in the times where we really want to. So the more grace and the more grace you have with yourself and the more rest you allow yourself to have, ironically, the more energy you will have and the more you'll be able to accomplish, because you're not trying to force yourself to have good days all the time, to be this happy, energetic, focused person every single day. That can't happen. And I'm telling you right now, that is not how I am. I've been really trying to get good at feeling into how I'm feeling and allowing myself to show up in the way that feels the best. Let's say that I'm supposed to edit a video, but I'm feeling so creative, it's flowing out of me, and I just have to create a piece of art. My feeling and body is leading me to where my energy is going to be the most needed. And sometimes we have to break the rules that we set for ourselves in order to reach our fullest potential, because we change, our mood changes, our thoughts change. Sometimes we learn something new that would actually change the work that we committed to doing in a very powerful way if we gave ourselves time and space to explore this instead today. I just want you guys to explore your emotional state and listening to that before you do anything and see what it tells you. And you'll realize that you had the answers the entire time. Before you say yes to an opportunity, before you do anything, check in first, not with your thoughts, with your feeling, and tell yourself the option, should I do this or should I do this? And feel your way through it. And I promise you, you will experience so much more magic and energy in your life because you've just given yourself some slack. So yeah, some days can be good, and some days you may need more rest, or maybe you just want to sleep, or maybe you just want to watch a podcast that you really love and curl up in a blanket and eat your favorite meal. You're allowed to do that, and that is an act of self-care, to give yourself that time when you truly feel emotionally that you need something other than what you've set for yourself for that day. Just allow yourself to have it, or play with it. Give yourself a reward for it. You have to cut yourself some slack. So I wanted to tell you guys about sometimes with how I'm feeling physically and all of that, because I still feel we can make ourselves feel so bad, about not committing to the one thing we would told ourselves we would do this day or whatever, but we created that with our mind. We are shoulding on ourselves all the time. Oh, I should do this, but I should. Who said? We actually don't know that that's all fact. It could just be a story that we're telling ourselves, that we think everything in our lives will crumble if we don't do this one thing. Where's the proof of that? And of course, there's certain things that we can't skip out on throughout the day. Some of us need to work. Some of us need to take care of our kids, and that's fine. I'm just talking about when you feel that you need something, and the only thing stopping you from actually doing that is because you tell yourself that you don't deserve it, or this or this or that, all of that chatter. Prove to yourself that something else could be true. Prove to yourself that you could rest today and nothing will crumble and everything will still be okay. Prove to yourself that there's another way to do all of these things, including your dream practice, including your reality checks, including how you choose to spend your time. So maybe practice that this next little bit. Just feel your way throughout your day instead of thinking your way through it, and just see how you feel, see what happens. And the more we work with our dreams, it really is guiding us back to our intuition. And especially with me lately, I went no contact with a lot of my family, and I've had to cut out specific friendships. I've had to change things in my business and who is working in my business with me, and it's all of these things have, there's been changes. And the thing that has made it feel so much easier and has helped me maintain clarity throughout it is letting my feelings lead the way, opposed to my thoughts and what my thinking is telling me that I should do, because our thoughts are based off of past experiences, our programs, things that people have told us, other people's fears, but your feelings are true. And so I've just made sure to ask myself a lot of questions, and when I'm at a road where there's two ways I can go, I take a deep breath, I put my hand over my heart, and I read out each option, and I go with whichever one feels the most ease, feels the most right to me. And I promise you, like, it will tell you. And again, see how you can do this in your dream practice. Give yourself the options of things that you can do to work with your dreams, or ways that you can do it. And your feelings are a direct connection to your intuition. So whatever you feel, I think, is the way that you're supposed to go to get the most out of what you're trying to do. So, and if you have questions about this, feelings, The Feeling is the Secret, by Neville Goddard. He talks a lot about how feelings not only control like how we show up, but also the results that we get. So the feeling, I think it's Feeling is the Secret, or The Feeling is the Secret, one of the two. Let me just check that out. But I would love you guys to post in the group if you guys are having any, if you have any questions about your practice, if you have an experience that you want to share. And then, of course, any members, if you are a member, and you have an experience that you want to share for the channel, or in like a video, or you want, like, whatever, message me, and we will, like, I want to help all of you guys as much as I can with your questions, with your practices. And a lot of the issues or questions that other people have are going to help you directly. So if you have any questions or experiences you would like to share with the community, if you are a member, reach out to me, and we can make that make that a part of one of my upcoming videos, because I'm sure that a couple people's questions would answer other people's questions that have the same kind of issue. And of course, members are obviously priority as far as me responding to, me using the stuff for content, just to keep things organized, you know. But everyone else who has any experience or any questions, experiences they want to share, please, so I can still see all of these, and answer them, put them in the Telegram chat. It's very hard for me to go through all of my comments on my videos. And so as far as comments, you will see the members' comments appear in a whole different part in the YouTube studio. So I prioritize communicating with members very first. So your questions, so your experiences don't get lost. If you are not a member, make sure to post it in the Telegram group, so I can still get your guys' questions and experiences and still use those in content coming up. But if there's a member that has an experience or question to share that wants it to be in a video, that's going to be what helps me make the video, knowing that there's already a question or an experience that someone has that we could turn into a video. I hope that makes sense. Hope it does. I've had a long day today. I love you guys so much. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know what you think about that lucid dreaming motivation video. And what other content you would like to see me create on this channel. I have videos ready to go, backed up, but because I'm trying to learn to pass them off to my editor, because I'm used to just like editing everything myself and uploading it, but I'm working on letting myself receive help in that way. So I have videos ready to go that just aren't fully edited yet, because I'm trying to release some of that responsibility on some of my videos so I can create more. So just know there's videos coming to the channel. There's a really cool one. Let me try to find the name of it. Oh, 3 ways to explore your dream world. That is the name of the video that will be coming out next. So that kind of goes with what we were talking about. So that's kind of cool. So yes, if there's a delay on getting some of the content out, that's why. I'm just trying to get content batched and receive some help with editing. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys, for posting that. All right. Love you guys so much. Thanks again for joining. I can't wait to see you guys next time. And we'll be streaming, I think, I'm going to Washington, by the way, for my birthday. My birthday is August 12th, and I am going August 10th, to like the 15th or the 16th. So I'm going to take you guys along with me. We'll be streaming out there. And I'll be making shorts out there and stuff as well. But I want to try to go, my birthday falls on the Perseid meteor shower every year on the 12th, and so it's been a tradition for me my entire life to watch the meteor shower on my birthday. And so I want to, it's very hard to see the stars where I'm at, so I'm going to be going to Washington, and I'm going to try to star watch out there. I'm going to take you guys with me as much as I can, but let me see what day Monday is to make sure. Oh yeah, it's 31st. Yeah, we'll be live next Monday. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for joining. I really, 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 really love you guys. Thank you, Greg. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Teach us how to make sleep medicine tincture salve. Ooh. I love that you said that, Eric, because I've been wanting to come out with a series called like Mystic's Kitchen or something, where I teach you guys how to make like different dream teas and oils and stuff like that. So I love that you said that. I'm gonna copy that and put that in my notes. Okay, I'm done. I promise. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, and as always, I'm sending you endless love, endless lucidity, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.